It is enlightenment for the soul, the mind, the ear. WSME, SM Enlightenment Radio. What's going on? It is the great Doc P. Happy Sunday. All right. It is the Sunday night spotlight with your man right here. And hey, as always, with the Sunday night spotlight, we like to focus on something that or something or some people, some events that I think that you absolutely need to know about, and stuff that's good for the community, good food and good fuel for the community to uplift the community, and hey, what we're talking about is an annual event that a lot of people may not know about. All right, it's National Black Poetry Day. All right, and celebration of Jupiter Hammond, who is the first published African American poet, and it's an event that's going down October 17th, and that's at Frugal Books, 57 Warren Street in Roxbury, Massachusetts. All right, and joining me this evening is I have two folks that are a part of the whole the event, bringing the event to you, to the community. All right, and let me, without any further ado, bring in both Warrior and Gwen Michelle. What's going on, folks?
Peace. How you doing, brother? What's going on?
Peace and blessings. I want to welcome you. Welcome to SM Enlightenment Radio. All right, and the whole concept here of this platform is positivity. You know what I'm saying? We always say that positivity is everything, and we urge people to maintain their disposition at an optimistic vibrational state of gratitude, and we tell people to be grateful. And a lot of the work that you folks are doing in the community is in direct alignment of a lot of that. Just bringing positive stuff to the community. I've haven't been familiar with National Black Poetry Day. I mean, this is a new concept to me, and I'm excited. I'm excited to hear about this. I mean, how long has National Black Poetry Day been in existence?
So Black Poetry Day is October 17th, 1711. So we're talking about 1711, right? That's how long it's been in existence.
Wow.
Found out about it in 2005, just kind of being at the library with my girls. I have two girls, and I was bringing them to the library almost every day. And I just happened to go through like a holiday book. It was a holiday book about different holidays. I couldn't believe how big the holiday book was, right? Because all we know is Christmas and Thanksgiving and Easter, right? For our whole life. But I'm like, there has to be other holidays. So, of course, I researched Black holidays, and I'm a poet. So, obviously, this one stood out to me. But I think for me, it was kind of like I get the same reaction from a lot of people to where you're like, I'm interested in this, but I've never known about this, So, yeah, it happens a lot.
So for me, Gwen Michelle, I've been a poet for quite some time. Like for like 25 years, I've been performing and doing spoken word, and so on and so forth. Nice. And when I met Gwen Michelle a couple of years ago, she informed me about this thing that I like you had no idea existed. I had no idea that there was a black man, that there was a black poet who was published, and this is the caveat: he was published while he was enslaved.
Yeah, Jupiter Hammond.
Yes,
right, indeed. The brother was published while he was enslaved.
Yes.
And then I did my own research because I'm a research nut. I had to research it because I questioned everything.
Yeah.
And so I don't take anything at face value. So I started researching. I said, hold on, wait, I've never heard about this. And I started researching it. And I discovered that this brother was enslaved by the Lloyd family. All right. And then chose his own name after a while. He was passed down from the father to the son, and still enslaved. However, he wasn't enslaved under under the same conditions as we would recognize as slavery. Of course, he was still property. Of course, he was still,
Right.
He was working
for
free.
all intents and purposes, he was
And
a slave. However, they encouraged him to learn, educate. They educated him, and so on and so forth. They owned a publishing company, and they allowed him to publish his own poetry, and that's what he did. You know,
Wow.
did for the rest of for all of
because
his
he
life.
helped them too, right? We know that there was power in the words that he was using for at the time that he was using them too. But that's the power that we still have now with poetry, which is why it's so important. Authors, writers, artists in the world today to understand the power of their words. Jupiter Hammond was an enslaved individual that was being, he wasn't being paid for his labor, but like Warrior said, he was in a different position as a lot of other slaves, right? He was being educated right alongside their kids by Harvard grads, and being allowed to get his work published. So it's very, very interesting.
And the fact that he was allowed to at that time, this was long before Jim Crow and all the other ills that we suffered. This black man published his writings, and so on and so forth, or was allowed to publish his writings.
Right.
That um, so so for me, what I've learned in my research is that a lot of scholarly black people, um, for the most part, have a um, have a tendency to negate him or push him to the side because his content was more about um, um, empowering the master and letting slaves know or people know, black people who were enslaved that they should obey and so on and so forth. And so I brushed
Mm.
aside the content of his writing, and I'm more focused on the accomplishment of a black man under those conditions to be able to publish several writings, you know.
Right.
So it's not about the content, it's about the accomplishment of it all. So that's what's important to me. That's the most important thing to me. And it allowed me to understand why I'm in a position to be able to publish two books of my own poetry, self-publish two books of my own poetry, and other poets and other writers that I know, black, brown Americans, to publish their own writings because of the accomplishment that he had.
And I think it really is quite interesting that, just like you say, um, of course, they were gatekeeping the content and
Yeah.
sort of steering the
Yes.
content. But I mean, is it any different from the modern day record companies that sort
Yeah.
of dictate the content that a lot of these young artists are putting out there? And it seems as though in a lot of cases, even though what it is that they're putting out might not necessarily, like content wise, might not necessarily be um the best for us, but they still are an inspiration to our people
Indeed.
because, as you said, the accomplishments that they were able to go to and the heights that they were able to reach.
Yes.
I mean, it's like you could even look at someone like Snoop Dogg, who is a national treasure, you know, but I mean, he didn't get there by, talking about, go to school and
Yeah.
and read. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's a national treasure now, and he's cherished by all people. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? And now he can actually say, hey, he can run for office now, and we
Yeah.
would vote for him. You know what I mean? I mean, so in a lot of ways, we need to see those types of prominent figures, that we can aspire to. That was like, and a lot of people know the power of that. Look at Muhammad Ali. Muhammad
And
Ali could have just been a guy that was quiet and just went out there and fought, but he seized the opportunity
Mhm.
to beat his chest like King Kong and say, I am the greatest.
Yes.
And us as a people, we were able to identify with that, and to be able to say, like, yes, I'm not a boy, I'm a man. You know what I'm saying? And yes, I'm the greatest. James Brown said, I'm black and I'm proud. He said,
Right.
I'm super bad.
Get loud.
I'm super bad. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So
Not just bad, super bad.
yeah, I'm super bad. So it's that kind of prowess and that confidence. You know what I'm saying? That we need. And like, hey, brother Hammond. I mean, hey, he is like an absolute symbol of that. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
one of the first, being a poet. So we're celebrating.
With
We're
celebrating
celebrating.
life. This is also his birthday, Doc P. It's
Wow.
his birthday. Now, is it truly his birthday? No, because as we know, as slaves, that was the part of slavery that was taken, right? Your birthright. When's your birthday? You don't know. I can't even imagine not knowing what my birthday really is, but October 11th, 1711 is considered Jupiter Hammond's birthday, and it's his birthday because we're celebrating him as the first published poet and author. But he doesn't really know when his birthday is because he was born on a plantation where that wasn't considered, right. There was no consideration to that. So those are the things that we lose in the process of our abilities, our talents, right? The talented brother, like he tended to that entire land. That they had a lot of land, I think, and a lot of slaves, but he tended to all of that. His
Yeah.
father, forefather, grandfather, everybody, generations of slavery in his family. So yeah, October 17th, we're
So
celebrating birthday and the celebration of the holiday.
absolutely. So October 17th has been recognized by the United States of America, by the government, as
Mm-hmm.
National Poetry Day. And I think that it is little known and little recognized. And I think that, Gwen Michelle bringing it to me, I feel like now it is, my duty as well as hers, as she feels, to, make sure that it is commemorated as 4th of July, Thanksgiving, and Juneteenth, and all those other prominent holidays that is recognized by this government. We should understand, me as a black poet coming
Yeah.
up in America, it's important to me first and foremost, but I think it's important to all of us as black Americans to recognize a black man who accomplished publishing his works, not only just publishing his works, but publishing his works during a time of enslavement, for whatever reason. Never mind the content. The fact that he was able to, put out his works, express his opinion, and say what he had to say under those conditions, that in and of itself is a tremendous accomplishment that should be recognized by all Americans, not just black and brown Americans, but all Americans in general.
And when you consider the challenges and the odds that were faced at a time like that, to actually become critically acclaimed and respected, in that day and time when people that look like us and that came from our background and ancestry weren't even really considered a man, a full man.
3/5.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Three fifths, brother. Three
Yeah,
fifths.
3/5. And to have someone that can rise above all of that and still work within the confinements of all that was going on at that time, and still rise above that and become a prominent figure that can inspire us all as a people, I mean, is nothing short from remarkable. You know what I mean?
Well, as a black American, we have the ability to code switch. So I would like to think that no matter what his content was,
Yeah.
that the brother was code switching just to make it through because the laws at that time and the conditions at that time weren't favorable to him being outspoken as outspoken as we are today. So I would like to think that the brother was code switching,
yeah,
and making it through, and his real mindset was, "Fuck these motherfuckers."
yeah, and watch me. That's what he's really saying to us all. It's like, watch me. Watch what it is that I can accomplish here. Watch what I can do. You know, I mean,
the inspired.
yeah. I mean,
and basically just saying, like, listen, I may have to do it this way, but those that are coming after me,
yes,
trust me. I'm busting open the door.
Somebody had to do it.
After me are gonna be walking through it.
Yeah.
He wrote outside of the lines of what we all know, because the published works, right? The works that we were able to see and know about were the works that were being published by his master. So we know what those say.
Yeah.
But there is a piece of work that was found at the Yale University Library. It's called An Essay on Slavery, where he speaks otherwise. I advise everybody to go look up and read that piece that he wrote. But that was a hidden jewel. That was a hidden piece.
Wow.
As Hammond was a hidden jewel for so many years. Imagine, Warrior. Imagine, Doc P, growing up your entire lives knowing that it was a Black man. We know why he's a hidden jewel, why he's a hidden gem. The power that it gives you, the inspiration that you get just from knowing it. For me, I was a Black woman. I was inspired. I was motivated. Like, oh my gosh, like this is awesome, But,
and you know what it really says. What it really says to us all is like, look, he was doing all of this then. It makes you say, okay, so what are you gonna do
now?
Right. There's no excuses whatsoever.
Yeah, there's no excuses.
We should not
There's
be
no excuses.
of mind that we're in right now, and we're losing so many artists to prison for being outspoken. There's so many topics to speak about. Why are you speaking about things that can put you in jail? I don't know. But what I'm saying is we are losing them to the prison industrial complex. And these are people who are making it to certain levels that some people will never reach in their life. So I say to the poets, the artists, the musicians, the creatives, the people that are going to be coming out to the show, that we're given for the purpose of celebrating, for the purpose of coming together and coming up with ways to, not just rejoice and celebrate, but also collaborate on other ventures and show and make people aware of your work and your talent that you're doing. Like you, Doc P, I want you to be there and be present. Let people know what you're doing. You're giving people an avenue to be heard. This is a platform. It's beautiful. We thank you for allowing us to even be here, opening up the door for us to be here, but also for teaching. You're teaching, podcasting. You're giving people an opportunity that they may not have ever been able to get somewhere else, or probably maybe can't even afford to be taught the information. So thank you for being that vehicle, for being that man, that Black in a space where information is vast and massive. It's all over, right? But are we delivering the kind of information that we all need and that we can feed and kind of fuel ourselves off of? So thank you for that.
Well, hey, I thank you for pointing that out, because yes, I am offering that podcasting training, and I mean, people are timid about stepping up and wanting to do it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like it's like I gotta practically beg people to come and let me teach you.
Come and let me teach you something that you can.
So we do. I will be remiss in not informing you that we have an organization called A Right to Succeed, RITE, A Right to Succeed. It's a rite of passage program which is one of the sponsors of this event on October 7th at Frugal Books at 57 Warren Street in Roxbury. A Right to Succeed is a nonprofit program that we mentor young Black and brown men ages 14 to 26.
Wow.
In all the areas that they need. So we encourage Black men, accomplished Black men who are in different, areas and genres of life to empower young men, teach young men, take a young man, under their wing, and show them what it is to be a black man growing up in America. I often say this. This is something I often say to Gwen Michelle, is that the safest place for me, and as a black man, is behind the confines of my door. As soon as I walk outside, I become every bad thing, every suspect, every victim that America can imagine. The safest place for me is behind my closed doors. And that's where I can be myself. I can be naked, literally and figuratively. I can
Yeah.
be vulnerable in all forms behind my closed doors. But as soon as I have to wear the mask. I have to, as I said before, code switch. I have to put on the perfect makeup, and so on and so forth. So a right to succeed encourages accomplished black men in different areas of life, whether they be in trade, whether they be in academia, whether they be in organizations or entrepreneurship or whatever the case may be, to take on some young black and brown men who are trying to discover themselves and help them navigate this thing called life in America.
I think it's a fantastic program, and we're gonna continue to post information on that, and I definitely want to invite you all back
Yes.
to not only talk about these types of events, but also the concept of what your organizations are doing. And the message needs to continuously flow from us out into the community that hey, that there's a better way, and we need to do what we can to uplift our youth.
Yes, sir.
We have to uplift our youth, and I think it's fantastic. The mentoring programs and stuff like that. That's something that is we're in dire need of.
Definitely.
So I want to thank you both for all that it is that you do. And the event, it's happening October 17th. We are celebrating National Black Poetry Day. It's a celebration of Jupiter Hammond, the first published African American poet. All right, I see we have a laundry list of
Yes.
authors and poets and MCs. This is going to be a spectacular event. All
Yes.
right, and it's just a
Everyone's invited. Everyone's
oh,
invited.
Yeah.
yes, and
All
host Gwen Michelle, Michael Bonds. I
And
mean,
Frugal Books, I must say, Frugal Books, I have to say this, is a owned, black owned and operated business as well.
okay,
The
wait a
bro-
second. Stop. I want you to repeat that one more time.
Frugal Bookstore in Nubian Square in
Mhm.
Roxbury, 57 Warren Street in Nubian Square, is a black owned and black operated bookstore by Sam and his wife, husband and wife own this black owned, black operated bookstore in Roxbury, in the heart of Boston, in the Mecca of Boston. So, Frugal Books, 57 Warren Street, Roxbury in Boston, all right, is a black owned, black operated business. People should support it.
They can no longer say that if they want to hide something from our people to put it in the book because hey, we opening those books.
And we
All
own the
right.
bookstore. We
They're
That's
own
right.
the
right.
bookstore.
We that's
No.
it. We're the authors, we're the poets, we're the writers, and that's what this event on Saturday, October 17th
Thursday.
is. Oh, Thursday, excuse me.
I said the
Thursday.
name wrong. I said the name wrong. It's Lenny.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
The
Lenny's daughter.
brother's name is Lenny. I'm sorry. I said Sam. I was thinking about another brother who's doing some other powerful things in Boston, but the brother's name is Lenny. I apologize. I said Sam.
Thursday,
But
October 17th. That's this upcoming Thursday. All right. So make sure that you got your face in the place. All right. And we're going to be posting the information on this on the SM Enlightenment Facebook page and also on the website. So you could definitely check that out. All right. And hey, I want to thank you both, Brother Warrior, Sister Gwen Michelle. All right. Hey, thank you so much. October 17th, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that I'm also in the building as well with you, because I mean, this is something that none of us should miss.
No, definitely not.
Indeed. Looking forward to seeing you, bro.
Yes,
And
sir.
Warrior's
Yes, sir.
book is actually in the Frugal Bookstore. They do sell their books, but Warrior's, one of his books is in there. It's called The Right. So let's get out and just not just support the business, but let's support the creative authors, artists, painters, musicians. Let's support each other. This is
Yeah.
an essential part of our life and huge for the mental health. So let's
And if
keep.
you need books for your children, your schools, for yourself, hit up Frugal Books. Frugal Books. Hit up Frugal Books.
That's it. And it's so important, especially in this day and age where they're trying to take the books away from the kids, and ban books from the kids,
That's a whole other conversation, brother.
Woo! That's why we got to come back and sit back down and continue this. Maybe we'll do a little series. All right.
Yes,
so Warrior and Gwen, I want to thank you again for joining me on the spotlight. Once again, the event is Thursday, October 17th, Frugal Books. Make sure that you have your face in the place. This is the spotlight right here on WSME SM Enlightenment Radio.